LZ Granderson is an Emmy Award-winning journalist, an op-ed columnist for the Los Angeles Times, and an ABC News contributor with his ABC News podcast, Life Out Loud with LZ Granderson. It was, by the way, named one of the best new podcasts of 2021 and just received a GLAAD Special Recognition Award. Tam fam, please welcome LZ Granderson to the show. Congratulations!
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here to be part of the Tam fam.
I'm smiling ear to ear because I have loved you from afar for so long now. All of these accolades and awards, I mean, you're entering the second season of the podcast. It just started. What kind of pressure does that add when you're one of the best picks of last year and you just get this GLAAD recognition?
Wow. I didn't see it as pressure necessarily. I saw it as an opportunity. That, okay, we have these eyeballs, right? We have the critics' ear. What are we going to do with it? What are we going to do with this platform? And so season one was really just about introducing this concept. And this is the first time ABC News has done an LGBTQ plus podcast. Season two is about talking amongst ourselves. Okay, this is about us. And so in addition to having fantastic guests that share their stories, we also have experts that are sharing valuable information like proper health care, data, HIV/AIDS conversations, LGBTQ acceptance and resources. And so we want it to be more informative and not just personality driven for season two.
Well, listen, I love the personality part because you have a phenomenal personality. You are so authentic and talking about your journey, coming out, hiding it from your family, your wife, and all of those layers. But you said something that's so interesting, which is so rare, LZ, is that critics love your podcast, but fans love it. Sometimes you have that divide. I'll use the Oscars, for example. You have a lot of movies that are critically acclaimed, but then Spider-Man rakes up everything as far as the box office is concerned. You are this perfect hybrid of critics loving it and fans and people within the community you are speaking to adoring it. How did you hit that sweet spot?
Girl, I have no idea. I'm not even going to front. I'm not even going to front like there's a formula, because if there is, I didn't use it because I don't know if it's existence. The only thing that I really tried to do, and this is the honest to God truth, is to provide a platform to tell our stories and to make sure that there was heart when we were telling those stories, that we offered each other grace, that we weren't afraid to dive into questions that may be uncomfortable, and that we were always willing to push each other as our team. And I can't be more grateful for the team that I have with Robert and Trevor and Stacia and Liz. And there's so many people who are involved in helping to push each other. And so I don't know what the winning formula is. I'm not even going to try to find out. I'm just grateful that people are listening and critics appreciate it.
I do. I think part of it is, and you and I both know this as journalists, then suddenly you're talking about your personal life. Then suddenly you're telling people your journey. And as I mentioned, you talk about your journey as a father and in your life in your 20s, which every time I read this quote, you compared your life in the past sometimes to the feeling of drowning. And that is so strong of you and so brave of you to describe it in those terms, because I think it makes people understand it in a very hard way.
I don't like to spend a great deal of time talking about, my traumatic experiences, to be quite honest. I was physically abused as a child. I got a lot, right? And we all have a lot. And I think being willing to talk about the messy part of our lives, and your previous guests earlier were talking about life being messy. Well, life is really messy for all of us. And I think one of the reasons why, my podcast has been so successful and so many others is because we're willing to talk about the mess and not pretend as if everything is cleaned up. So it did feel like I was drowning, and now I can
breathe.
Exhale.
That's what's so beautiful about it. Well, listen, I know you said that all of us have messy lives, and Lord knows that puts me in the list too. But we all cannot say that we start opposite one of the most phenomenal human beings, actors, philanthropists, one of the greatest people to walk this planet, Sidney Poitier. I love this story. You were on To Sir with Love, the sequel with Sidney. Or Mr. Poitier, what am I thinking right now? It's live TV. Let me correct myself. How was that?
You're doing all right. You're good.
How was that?
I pray to God that I didn't waste an opportunity,
Oh.
you know, and I spent as much time as I possibly could around him,
Mhm.
and ask him 1,000 questions about the scene that I was in, about character development, but also
Mhm.
about what it meant to be a black man, when he was coming up in Hollywood in the 50s and the 60s, and what was required of me in the 90s moving forward as a black man, particularly as a black man who, at that time was in acting, but obviously now the platform has shifted to journalism and media.
Yeah.
And, I just thought about him so many times throughout the course of my life. So when he passed, the first thing I thought was, thank you.
Yeah.
And the second thing I thought was, I hope I didn't waste a minute. I
Oh.
hope I got as much out of the experience as I possibly could, because he truly was a wonderful man.
Well, I've enjoyed spending these minutes with you, and I love spending many, many more listening to the podcast. Time well spent. You always talk about, I don't have time to waste. There is no time wasted when you are listening to LZ Granderson. I promise you that. Congratulations from an obsessed fan. Thank you for joining us. ABC Audio's Life Out Loud with LZ Granderson. Add it to your list. Post new episodes Thursdays, so you can check one out today. We're live and it's Thursday. Go check it out. Thank you, LZ.